Jeroen, thank you for coming on here.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Where did your initial interest in music come from? When did that come into your life?
Um, Let me think that must have been very, very young. I can't really remember a time that I've not have been interested in music. I think it always kind of grabbed me from a I don't know toddler's age on. Um, I remember the first single I got from my parents for Christmas was Alane by Wes and
Mm.
Bop by Hanson. But I know it's cheesy, but I know I really, really loved it. Like I almost cried. I was so happy that they got me this music. Um, and I think into the more music where I'm at now, or I don't know. It's kind of a broad spectrum, but I remember when I was, I think about 7 years old, my CD player died, and my mom installed her old record player in my room, and she put on the first album by the Specials. And the first song I heard was Monkey Man, and I just remember dancing to that with her, and that was I don't know a very cool memory. And I think after that, I, I I started listening to more punk rock and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Hanson and the Specials, they go hand in hand for sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah, Mbop to Too Hot. Yeah, that's same.
kinda.
Well, what were some early influences?
Hmm. I guess it started with like bands like Sum 41, that I saw on MTV, and I really liked that. And I would go to I was in Boy Scouts, uh, but Sea Scouts. So a little subtle difference. Uh, and I think I was about 11 years old, and I took the Sum 41 CD with me. And then the older kids were like, "Hey, if you like this, you might like this." And then the next week they would give me like Black Flag and Exploited, Dead Kennedys, Pennywise, that kind of stuff. And then I don't know, one thing led to another, and I started. So yeah, punk was really the where it kicked off for me, and why I wanted to start playing bass. Actually, I started with the bass, and then guitar shortly after that. Uh,
Yeah, right
yeah,
on. That's great. Um, Now, you were your parents also into punk stuff as well?
not really. My dad is more like a disco guy, actually. Really into the more new wave stuff. My mom was a bit more alternative, I guess, but can't remember it being it super present. They always had music on, that's for sure, but I think they never got as deep into it as I did. You know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
They like music, but I really.
But you really like it, and they
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
they like it, right? There's a difference. I understand that. Yeah. So did that kind of harder stuff kind of influence you as you were moving from the bass to the guitar? That was during that transitional period as well. That's what you were listening to a lot around
Mm,
that time.
well, actually, when the time came, because I played the trombone since I was 9, so I was already playing music, and I just really loved this punk music and metal and the loud gnarly stuff. I was a very hyperactive kid, and it was a really great way to get rid of that energy. But at the time, I finally bought a bass and took some lessons. I remember that the Ray Charles movie came out with Jamie Foxx,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
the movie, and I completely turned overnight. I was There was just soul and Motown for me for the next 2 or 3 years, I think. Soaked all that up. Uh, like I had like many periods my life. Like every couple of years, I was super into jazz, super into soul, super into whatever. Uh,
You're deep diving on some genres.
yeah, yeah, and it's when I really when I like something, I always go really hard and uh, deep for a little while, even if it's not music. It's a certain part of history or making Italian food. I don't know. It's just always I
Whatever it may be, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is there a genre that you were once really into and now you're just like I don't like it at all anymore and you just won't touch it anymore?
Mm, first thing that comes to mind is really like the more pop punk stuff. So Blink 182, and I don't really like, a lot of my friends are still nostalgic towards it, but I don't really care about it. Even some 41, I'm like, yeah, kind of over it.
And those were your guys, those are your dudes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry, dudes. I'm
Sorry,
making
some
new
41.
friends. And also I had a Britpop phase. So the Kaiser Chiefs and the Cooks and stuff when I was younger. Uh, eh, don't really care for it anymore. But
At a time,
yeah, so it goes, I guess.
right? Now were you also getting into singing at this time that you were picking up the guitar, or did that come later on at a different point?
mm, came pretty naturally. Never really thought of it that much. I know that our first band, which was with Arjen, because we've known each other since 13 years old, I think. So that was my first band with me and him just playing Seven Nation Army all over again, because there was the or and we switched it with Smoke on the Water, and it was me on bass and him on drums in his parents' garage for the whole day and having the best time ever. But what was your question again?
Singing,
Uh,
singing. When did
the
what?
singing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. We started a band, and someone had to sing. So and nobody wanted to do it. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. Not really super stoked to do it at the beginning, and also I hated writing lyrics. Like, what the hell do I have to bring to the table? Tell the I don't know. I'm 18. Well, I was younger, I guess. Yeah, I was 15 when we started. But I learned to love it, and I learned to use my voice in a way that works. Uh, and also which kind of came simultaneously was the writing lyrics. Something I really love now, and really it's maybe one of my favorite parts of writing a song nowadays.
Right
Something
on. That's
when it
great.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, did it take some time to find your voice?
I've been experimenting a little bit in the beginning. Uh, Found out that I can't go too high, so I have a pretty low voice, I guess. Um, but if you listen to our first record, you can, maybe that's just age, but you can hear my voice changing a little bit too. Uh, I don't know. There's just so much you can do uh, with vocals. You don't always have to sound exactly the same, I guess. But I don't really know.
Did you feel like there was the possibilities were endless when you started playing with other people and stuff? Did you feel like it was just like an open concept, just music in general at that early age of 13, 14, 15, even back then?
Hmm, not really. Uh, no, it took a while to find out what I really wanted to do, and I remember not being particularly happy with most of the stuff I did for a long time. But I think it's good.
Did you feel immediately comfortable once you started performing live? Was that something that was easy for you to do?
That was super easy, actually. That's something I never really ever had to think about, because I always felt comfortable on stage since I was a kid. like even for like school musical or oh well, when I played trombone, I played in this orchestra too, which is a big group of people, of course. But I don't know, performing was always. I guess I feel a little bit more comfortable on stage than off stage, even sometimes. I don't know why, but yeah. And I can be nervous beforehand, but yeah, to go on, it's always fun. I like to have fun.
Yeah, do you remember the first time that you went up not in an orchestral ensemble?
Yeah, yeah, it's probably one of the first. It's probably one of the first shows we did with this band in 2012, I think. Well, maybe before we had like a cover band, but that wasn't really. It's not that we really did shows. Uh, yeah, I think this band, which started in 2012, and we did a little gig in the village we grew up in for mainly parents and neighbors and stuff. It's maybe one of the scariest ones ever.
How did you feel after that performance, after it was done?
Oh, it's a while back. I felt a sense of relief, and also I felt like, yeah, oh yeah, oh we can do this. Feels pretty good. I think we got something here, even though the songs weren't that great yet. But you know, I always trusted in the process, and I always knew that if we just worked hard, we could get there. You know, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel after performances now?
Um, most of the time, pretty good actually. Still sort of a therapeutical thing too. Like I said, when I was young, it was good to get the energy out, and I guess that still is nice. Uh, we're in a period now that we don't really play live, and I'm always bummed out a little bit. Can't wait. For me, it's one of it's one of my favorite parts of being a musician. It's the live thing. Well, I know a lot of people hate it and love recording, but I don't know. I just love it. Just pick up the gear, uh, in the afternoon, drive to a show with your friends. It's simple. Some beer. I love it.
Did beginning to play music with other people and kind of teaching yourself how to perform and whatnot, did that change the way that you went on to listen to other people's music? Did it change your perception of other people's songs?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think I think everyone that makes music and it really gets into it, you get more critical, of course. I think it's logical. I think like a chef is also way more critical of the food he eats. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, you you can you'll never listen to music the same way again. I guess that happens with everyone that makes music. And I noticed that also the older you get, the more critical you get. You become a grumpy fuck. You become the guy in the back of the venue with his arms crossed.
It's so negative looking, you
Oh
know.
yeah. You know
Ah,
what's worse than
what's
the guy
worse?
in the back with the arms crossed? The guy in the front with the arms crossed. You, it
Yeah.
sucks. And who gets mad when people mosh?
Oh, yeah. That's bad. It just looks bad as well. I mean, of course, if you see somebody crossing their arms, that's a sign of like don't, that it's their body language is telling people like they're uncomfortable. That's like a self-soothing kind of a sort of a thing, but it's also portrayed as negative. I
Yeah,
never do it. I'm not doing it anymore.
it,
I'm
it
not.
doesn't look fun when you're on stage, but I was talking about this with a friend of mine who also
Yeah.
plays band, and he says, I really think that people sometimes don't realize that we see them too. It's like they're watching television.
Yeah, definitely. There is a disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also I think that you guys should just start crossing your arms towards the audience,
Oh,
and see how they like it.
well, most people are very, very cool at the show. So, yeah. Or like Miles Davis, just play with your back to the audience.
Yeah.
He was so fed up with everyone, like, I'm not going to look at you anymore."
It's a good move. It's a good move on Miles's part.
It's a pretty Miles Davis move. Yeah.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very Miles Davis move. When you go to shows now, when you go to see somebody as an audience member, is that also changed? Has that changed since you've played so many shows? Just
Yeah.
kind of observing it as as a viewer watching TV, if you will.
Yeah. I went through some stages, to be honest. Like I had a, a period when I didn't even want to go to shows anymore. Didn't really enjoy it. Um, I I didn't like I didn't like loud music for a while anymore. I don't know what was happening with me. Maybe it was COVID. I don't know. Wasn't feeling very well. But I nowadays, like, I really love it again. And there's this promoter in Rotterdam. It's called No Spray, and they do all the punk shows here, mainly like a lot of those egg punk bands as well. Um, and I always love it. It's a guarantee for a good night when they put on a show, and I don't know, I just fell back in love with it.
That
I just
that's great. That's
yeah,
fantastic that you could rely on that, and it's a local thing.
yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. But yeah, like shows in general, I really enjoy it again. Uh, and of course, you always watch what the musicians are doing with different eyes than someone that doesn't play music. That's logical, I think. But yeah, I became less critical maybe to others, just trying to enjoy a good show. I'm not the guy that is there to pick all the best stuff out of it. Just I don't know. I'm just having a good time.
Do you feel like there's more musicians in the area now of Rotterdam since or right now compared to when you guys started or when you were younger growing up?
If there's more, I don't know, but I do know that there's way more good bands. Yeah. It's a different. It's a huge difference. I don't know. Don't want to shit on the bands back in the day, but there were a lot of shit bands here. And oh shit, I did it. I
We'll
said
just we'll just
I'm
we'll
gonna do
just
it.
we can just say who it is. It was Hanson, and it's fine. You know, we do love you, Hanson, but come on, some of the shows are not so great.
No, but last couple of years, and especially after the pandemic, I think people just went back and practiced a little more and wrote a lot. There's been cool bands popping up everywhere now, so it's cool. It's cool to be a part of that, and also with the promoter I just talked about, and some cool festivals that are getting organized here in the city, and everyone kind of knows each other, and it's a good vibe. There's not, from my perspective, not a lot of like dirty elbow work and jealousy and arrogant behavior and stuff. No, everyone's just pretty cool with each other and comes to each other's shows. There's a lot of local support. I think it's nice. It's something to be proud of.
Now, let me ask you this: when you hear new music, what are you gravitating towards when you're hearing this? Are you gravitating more towards the lyrics or more towards instrumentation, or maybe it's a little bit of both, depending on what song it is?
A little bit of both, of definitely more instrumentation. Yeah. I actually don't really listen to lyrics a lot, which is weird for a lyricist. But I don't know. No, I'm more interested in music most of the time, to be honest.
Yeah,
And I forgot to tell you about the live shows. I'm very obsessed with drummers.
it's
I, I
kind of hard to see them though. Kind of
yeah,
kind of hard
I'll
to keep
picture
an eye.
it.
Kind
I'll
of
find
gotta, yeah, move
yeah.
move around the venue.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Would you have you ever been in the position to play drums for a group or spend any a vast amount of time with drums?
No, not really. I would like to though. I would really like to. It's actually the instrument I wanted to play when I was younger, but my mom was like, "No way."
It's
Uh,
big commitment, a lot of sound.
yeah. Um, but I actually I found this new studio which kind of comes with a rehearsal space. So I was thinking maybe I can kick out some jams on the drums anytime soon. But yeah, it's not my strongest instrument, but I would like to get into that some more. Yeah.
So Iguana Death Cult starts in 2012-ish. Is that when we're talking about the kind of the the origin of this
Yeah,
group?
well, that was the first show we did as a band. Well, we had another name back then. First show as Iguana was 2014. Yeah.
Hmm. Did the name change kind of bring change in the tone of the band or what you guys were producing as a band? Or
Yeah,
did it kind of okay, it did change.
sort of because before that we were still kind of finding our voice, finding our sound, and every song would sound kind of different. Like we would write one song and it was a bit Arctic Monkeys, then the other one would be like a stoner song, and it went all over the place a little bit. And then in 2013, I went to Utrecht to see a show, and it was one day, one venue. It was Alalas, Ty Segall, White Fence, Night Beats, Jacco Gardner, uh, all these classic garage band, and who were still kind of small. They were all kind of small bands back then, uh, and I got my mind blown because I never heard that music before. Like the closest thing that came to garage music, I think, was the White Stripes. I obviously heard before, but on that day, I came back in the rehearsal room that week, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do it in a different way. uh,
It's a
and we're
heck of a
gonna,
lineup, yeah. For
yeah,
one day. Ooh.
yeah, that was a still, yeah, it's good memories. Um, but yeah, then I convinced the rest, like, okay, let's start making garage, psychedelic garage.
Yeah,
And
so
I think kind of rebranding it with a new name kind of worked.
there there was a discussion amongst the band about kind of switching up the tone of the sound.
Yeah, yeah, but everyone was on board pretty quick.
Did you have any expectations for this band after the rebranding and this kind of shifting of gears for it? Did you have any goals or expectations with it?
Well, like I said before, I always had the feeling that we could go places, and I always just believed in if we just keep on writing, keep on working hard, and doing the best we can, you know. And if we can keep going and do cool shows and have fun and make cool records, I'm very happy. And it's simple as that, actually. And keep on doing that for a while, or for the last 11 years now.
What were the earlier writing sessions with the band like? Was it kind of like like a free mentality or was it more coordinated? What was that like for you?
It was freer than now. I think I would actually just come up with a riff on an acoustic guitar in my house, and then we just try to work on that, or Tobias, of course, or anyone would just come with an idea, and we would like jam on it for a while and make that into a song. And later on, became more making demos beforehand. Just that, yeah. And I actually kind of love doing that. Just make a demo by myself, put out all my ideas out first, and everyone's always free to add stuff, and we make it into a thing together still. But yeah, it became more and more uh, uh,
Regimented, maybe.
yeah, yeah, and like already almost finished song before I would even take it to the rehearsal room.
Do you still work with the acoustic guitar? Is that still your primary way of getting something out like that?
No, not really. I start with bass a lot,
Mm.
with like a cool bass line with a cool energy, and it just start filling it in. Or with vocals. So what I often do, I actually work as a painter, house painter, and that's a job when you have a lot of time to think. And to let your mind wander a little bit, and it's like very very often I get ideas, melodies, or ideas for lyrics when I'm just painting, and I make a little voice note, and sometimes it gets stuck in my head, and when it's good, I just go to my studio and make a song out of it. Actually, a lot of songs originated that way. Just me on the job making a voice note and then building it into a song.
Do you feel like it's because you were focused on something else, a way away from music, that music kind of seeped in, that this creativeness started flowing through that, through doing something else?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times when I sit down without an idea to write something, it's way harder. I That's also why when I write lyrics, I love to go for a walk, because I don't know, just to be moving opens up different doors in my head, I guess. Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly like you said. Like,
Kind of moving away from music to get more inspired
yeah, I
to
think it
write it.
opens up your mind a little bit more
Hmm.
instead of telling yourself I have to do music right now, just doing something, and then like ideas float around and pop in your head, I guess.
So you had to be painting or you had to be walking. That cannot leave your life in order to
Ah,
continue to make music
or something like that. Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think that if you had all this free time to do music, do you think that that would not yield results the way that you would want it to? That it would kind of be a diminishing effect in a way because there's so much free time to work on stuff?
If yeah, I don't know. Like, I would prefer it
Hmm.
to just live mainly off the music and have all the time to do that. But yeah, maybe you're right in a way that because I have maybe one day a week that I can fully focus on music, uh, maybe makes me more creative because it's a little bit more
Under the gun, a little bit of pressure behind it.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
smaller window to operate in.
yeah, yeah. And I get a lot of ideas of doing other stuff. But I think it's a common thing that to in order to be a good artist, you kind of have to have time to fuck around a lot. I think it's a quote by someone smart, but I'm stealing it from
It was you. I
yeah.
heard you say it. So yes, obviously. Do you think that you would I mean if you did it have all this free time to expand on ideas and whatnot, do you think that you would take some of that time to explore different hobbies or activities and see if that yielded the same result? Do you think that you'd kind of branch out on that idea more?
If I've had all the time in the world to just
Yeah, I
do,
mean, yeah, if you had the time and the resources to do it, and do you think that that would yield more results? Not just walking or painting, but like, I mean, I'm just using this as an example, like going sailing or something, or
okay.
or like playing tennis or something like that.
Hmm, maybe do some more sports,
Sports
uh,
stuff, yeah, sure.
sports stuff. I like boxing, but I get injured every other. I go a couple times and someone punched me. But I literally broke my nose last month or two months ago, I
It
think.
looks good. It looks straight. You're good.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. But so it's I don't know. I love the sport, but it fucks me up a lot of times.
Did you get any inspiration out of that?
I got a concussion out of that.
So that's gonna really fire some new stuff up
Maybe,
there.
maybe. I was kind of out of it for a while. Um, but other things that I really love to do, I love cooking. Cooking is
Hmm.
a big thing for me. Uh, but if I had more time to get back to the question, seriously, then I would spend more time writing, I guess. So because I love writing lyrics and I do write poems sometimes in mainly in Dutch. Um, uh, yeah, I would love to see if there's more there. Yeah.
When you write these poems, do you know it's like this is not going to be turned into a song? This is just strictly a poem and it's not intended to be used in a musical format at all?
Yeah, most of the time I do because you can kind of let go of the rhyming and you can loosen up the form a little bit more, you know what I
It's
mean?
freer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't have to work within a confines of a boundary of some sort
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a bit more free.
or something like that. I don't know. Well, I'll edit that. Um, did those early songs that the band worked on, did some of those end up on the first album, or were those kind of later songs that were developed later on?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The first couple of years, you really don't want to hear it. But yeah, also this band is our first band. Like everyone just started with this band, so I think just Justin, our former bass player, didn't even play bass when he joined. You know what I mean? So yeah, needless to say, the first 2 years weren't very cool. I to be honest, yeah, I don't know.
um, what was released in that first album like, and was that the first stirrings of hideous insect life? Was that the first proper
Yeah,
album?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what was putting that out like for you?
Oh, fun. Uh, yeah,
Did it
uh,
did, did it feel like a big step for the band? Like, wow,
uh,
there's some traction to this, or
no, it was really cool. I was really proud. To hold your first vinyl, it's a special feeling. It's like it's real. It's there
something
now.
tangible? Yeah.
Yeah, tangible. Uh,
Did you feel like that helped set the tone? That album helped set the tone for the band. Like this is the music that we make. This is our sound, maybe.
well, yeah, sort of, but I also think if you listen to the records, the sound keeps on developing. It's not we don't really make surfy garage punk anymore. I don't know. It's been changing up.
I don't know, man. I heard the last 45 and it was like it's got Ty Segall written all over it, man. I know Time Seagal had a hand in it. I saw the liner notes of that. Hi-
Busted.
Him and the laws. I saw it. I read it. Um, I something that I've come across multiple times is people equating some of the earlier stuff from Iguana Death Cult's discography and applying it to parquet chords, sounding like them. Was that a an influence on you early on?
Yeah, I reckon that's the second album more. Yeah, kind of moved away from the very verby stuff. Um, People told me the voice is similar, but yeah, I kind of know what they mean. It's not that I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I like the band. I listen to them. Yeah.
I wish that you would like, but it's
Ah,
fine.
shit. Yeah.
Speaking of that second album, there was Nude Casino, right? That was the second album.
Yeah.
And did you guys get to work on that pretty soon after the first one came out, or was there a little bit of a gap in between working on both these albums?
Mm, I think it just kept on going. Yeah.
Hmm. Did you did you try to switch up the sound a little bit from the first? I mean, is it ever a conscious decision to like let's incorporate some new aspects into each release, or does it just kind of naturally happen that you kind of drift away from some of the sounds that were on a previous recording and kind
Yeah.
of discover new ones?
No, it was we kind like I said, we kind of were tired of the very verby lo-fi thing, and we wanted to do something else, and we wanted to have the vocals really clear, and we wanted to try if we can make cool music when it's not completely drowned in effects. That's the thing.
Now was that the first release from via Innovative Leisure?
Yeah.
Was that a big a big step for the band as well, being
Oh
being
yeah.
signed to that label?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. For never never really imagined that we could do that, you know. He signed on a US label. It's pretty it was a pretty big thing. Yeah, sure.
Did working on Echo Palace feel different than working on Nude Casino and the first release as well? Do they all kind of feel like they were written in different points?
Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah. As you move on in life. But Echo Palace was also the quarantine album.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You remember?
That rings a bell, yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was just not written in a rehearsal space. And I think that's when we moved to making demos beforehand a lot. Uh because we just made it in my living room, kinda. Uh,
What was that
which
process like for you, kind of just operating within your own ecosystem, not really moving too far away to get this completed? Did that change your perception of it?
yeah, it's good and bad because it was good in a way that it was different and it was inspiring and it was nice to have those guys over and work on music together. But I also got a little bit obsessed maybe because I lived there. It's the studio was in my living room and I couldn't really turn it off. So it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't see it as a bad thing, but I have a obsessive personality sometimes.
Do you think that you would have done the same thing to the other releases if you had the opportunity
No,
to keep on going back and changing stuff or adding stuff to ideas of songs or songs in general?
to old songs you mean?
Yeah, what but in the process of writing them. in the process of writing Nude Casino and whatnot, or recording that, would you, if you had the opportunity to go back and like, oh, I want to switch this and I wanted to add this and I want to take that away
Oh,
or whatever it may be?
no, no, not really. I'm happy with all three. I'm happy that they all different. They all happened in a different way in a different time. It's good. They're supposed to be like this.
Yeah. Do you feel like certain songs or albums can only be made at a certain point? That a certain sound can only be captured at a certain point, do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Uh, it's it's always a reflection of who you are at that point in time. Uh, yeah.
And are you reflecting upon your experiences while generating these lyrics to these songs? Is that like a inspiration point for you? Are you looking at your own self or kind of looking outwards or kind of maybe a bit of both for certain songs?
It's uh it's been changing over the years. I think the first one was our first album, of course. Still pretty young. It's about drinking, doing drugs, and getting girls. And the second one was more about like mental stuff, like yeah, coping with some mental difficulties, and kind of took that album as a vessel to, I don't know, get that off of my chest a little bit more. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
third one is more
Situational.
yeah, yeah, a bit
Yeah.
more critical on stuff that's happening in society, but more on an observational level, I think. Um,
Yeah, well, I mean that as we discussed earlier, and that's you. Arms crossed in the back of the venue.
oh yeah,
That's yeah.
just judging.
Yeah, judging. Hard, yeah, harsh judgment. Do you tend to revise lyrics as stuff goes on, like from the original idea to the demo to the final recording? Does that kind of undergo changes at all, or kind of slightly for most of the lyrics?
Yeah, I do because the way I write is always pretty fast and very train of
Mm-hmm.
functions, chain
Yeah,
of
train of thought. Yeah, yeah,
train of thought. Oh, fuck.
close.
Uh,
I mean, that's so close. Yeah.
it's still second language, hey. But train of thought. I just write it down and then make it sound good, and then afterward it always needs some clipping
Mm-hmm.
and some perfecting. But you know what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Do you feel like do you subscribe to the idea of the original thought is the purest thought? Like that's the way it's supposed to be, or that like in every time that you kind of think back on it or try to revise it, it gets still diluted or kind of weaker from where it originally stemmed from?
Yeah, I kind of do because like I said, I clip it a little bit. I adjust some things, but I don't really change up the idea that much. I used to do that in the past because I always had the idea like it can always be better. But like you said, normally when something comes fast, like an idea, like if it's music or lyrics, whatever, if you can write it down really fast, um, it sounds weird to say, but then it's
It's
it's it's
fresh. It stays fresh.
it stays fresh and it's most of the time it's way better than stuff that I've been working on for a couple of days, or just keep on dragging and not really, never really, you're never like fully satisfied with what you did afterwards. So
Yeah. Once
yeah,
that momentum is going on the first rotation, you want to keep that consistently going until it's done.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
is it yeah. Is it hard for you to come back to an idea that you had like just the day prior and kind of tap back into that mindset of where you were when you left off?
Yeah, the longer you wait, the harder it is. sort of, for me. Yeah, but you can do it. I never finish 100% in one day. I guess sometimes. Yeah,
What
I
do
don't
you,
know.
is there like a percentage that you try to get to? Or is there like a point with each idea that you're like, I could stop here and it could be finished the way I want it to be finished?
Yeah, yeah, but mostly when I'm really going, I just don't stop. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a late one tonight. Sorry. Yeah.
Until it's
So
done. What is that feeling like when it is done super quickly? When the whole when it's at 100%, what is that feeling like for you?
yeah, it's the best actually. Hard to describe, man. A difficult question, maybe. Um, it feels way better than a song that I've been like working on for very long, and like, oh no, you never really know when it's done. And when you write a song in 2 hours, and it feels done, it's nice.
Can you feel yourself getting closer to the ending? Like, oh, it's almost done. Is there like a thing that you feel you get that feeling of like, all right, I'm almost done with this. This is
Yeah,
almost finished. Yeah.
yeah. And of course, I revise it the next day, but sometimes you just don't add anything anymore. Just happy.
And is that the best feeling? It's just like I don't have to do anything with this. This is done. It's in the can. It's recorded. It's done.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, and might be even better if you do it together. To be honest, like if you just ping ponging ideas of bouncing ideas off each other and everything that the other one does.
Influences you and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also I really like writing that way too.
Is that but it's more rare. It's more of a
Oh,
rare thing to happen.
no, not really. No, it's 50-50 for me. I wrote this last album that still has to come out, which is kind of done now. Um, Mainly together with Jimmy and Tobias. Like every Monday we would meet and just work on songs together, and it went really fast. I think we wrote the whole album in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, two or
That's
3 months maybe. Yeah,
it's very quick. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah. It came kind of out of a because Arjen and Justin they quit the band last year, and we were on a certain point because we want to go on, but we were like, I was like, are we gonna wait till we gonna do shows again, or are we gonna take this time and just write a cool new record? And that's kind of what we did. And this whole, I think it kind of came out of the the frustrating feeling that those guys left all in good love and peace, and we're still best friends ever. But it did suck. I didn't. Yeah, rather had they didn't, of course. And I think just had to prove something to ourselves. And that's where this album came from.
Yeah, that was it. That was the kind of push there.
Yeah, but yeah. So you see that out of these shitty times,
Situations.
situations, you can pull a lot of creativity from it. Yeah, inspiration. I mean,
Yeah. Did their departure change the dynamic for the group?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, new drummer, new bass player, um, and it became more just us three really writing. Yeah,
And the drummer is another local guy, right? From Rotterdam.
no, uh, he lives in Berlin. He's from Tel Aviv.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies. I got
No,
my facts wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Apologies. Apologies. All right. Must.
talk so much
I
shit in the comments. when when this one drops.
It's fair. It's fair. Um, yeah. Uh, when you moved into to working on this new album, uh, of course it feels different, but are you always looking for something to feel different and new and fresh within this band?
I do, but not really. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, yeah. You just you move a little bit with what you listen to and what you like, and yeah, I always like to do something a little different to keep it fresh too. I wouldn't want to make four of the same album, like make the same album every time, like exactly the same sound and the same sort of songs. No, I like to like as you go, you keep learning, of course, too, and you want to throw everything what you learn in the mix as well.
Right. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of moving into new directions and stuff, you on top of working on Iguana Death Cult stuff, you also have your solo project as well, Parisian Night Suit, which is kind of a new project, right?
Yeah, sort of. It's a slow one. I got a lot of songs. Didn't really find the time to really record them probably and put them out, but I'm really yeah, I'm sure I I do have plans with that. And I actually have some time now, the next coming couple of months, and when I get this whole room up and going, I'm gonna try and write some more stuff and record it. It's been a fun one. Yeah, it's an actually you kind of have to completely reinvent yourself as a musician if you want to. It's because it's really different music. Uh, so I'm kind of writing and learning new stuff as I go because I write a lot of this on piano, but I'm not a real good piano player. But I'm learning, it's fun, and out of this come a lot of ideas just fucking around on the piano. So it's yeah,
Yeah, when did you begin this project?
I think also in the pandemic. Uh,
Busy, you're busy.
yeah, I like to keep busy. But yeah, I actually started it with Jimmy, the keyboard player in
Mhm.
Iguana. Uh, and we just did one song. It's the first song we did, the end credits one, and it was fun. And he did the lap steel on it. But he also he quickly quit because he also has another band, People's Pleasure Ground, and came a little bit too much. So I went on solo, and the other two songs I did by myself. And after that, we kind of got busy with Iguana again. So it's been kind of slow in the Parisian Night Suit world, but I'll get to it.
It's around.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely.
Do you approach working on both these projects differently? Is it just a different thing altogether?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, like with Iguana, I write mainly out of like bass lines. Like a good drive is always very important, and a cadence, vocals. And this one's more, yeah, fucking around on the piano. So uh, I noticed that you get real different kind of songs when you if you write on piano or on a guitar. You make different choices.
Yeah, right.
So that's
You the the song reveals itself in different ways, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there some overlap though? just because it's just yourself working on music? Do you find that there's just at least a little bit of overlap, or it just again just completely different fields?
I think there is. I didn't really like for me. It feels really different because it's so. But other like friends told me like you can still. They told me like you can still hear that it's a Jeroen song, kind of. So I guess there's some overlap. And
Kind of though, only a little bit.
do you? I don't know.
It is different. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
this is this and this is is how I perceive it, and I know that everybody's gonna ask me anyway, so I'll just say it now. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Both are great. Um, do you feel like you would have found yourself making the music that you're making through Parisian Night Suit if you hadn't if Iguana Death Cult never started? Do you feel like you would have fell into that regardless? Or is this an extension or result from making music with a band for so many years?
Really don't know, to be honest. I do know that I was kind of like I told you before. I kind of fell out of love with punk music, and I just really wanted to chill, and I wanted to rest, and I was tired, and I started making really slow music on a Fender Rhodes, and I don't know, it grabbed me.
So overall, the way that you've made music has changed since beginning to make music.
Oh yeah, yeah, big time.
Right on. What do you get from making the all these different kinds of music or being inspired by all these kinds of music? What do you get from that?
Sense of sense of purpose. It sounds a bit heavy, maybe, but it's a way to make sense of life.
Yeah,
Creating
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point, maybe, of making art. It's just trying to express yourself and trying to make sense of life and of the world around you. Is that cheesy enough?
No, I liked it. That was a good answer. Jeroen, I really appreciate you coming on here, but before I let you go, I got some promo to do here. Um, Iguana Death Cult's music is streaming everywhere. Wherever people get their music, that's where they could find it, right?
Yeah.
On all streaming platforms. The vinyl is available through Innovative Leisure. I believe it's .net, and if I'm wrong about that, it'll be fixed below whatever you listen to this on. The newest release is the 45,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
which is available again it'll be linked below. There's a Bandcamp, I believe it's iguanadeathcult.bandcamp.com. So go there to support the band directly if it's not through Innovative Leisure. uh Parisian Night Suits, the debut release, at least on a physical copy, was through Six Tone de Chair, right?
Yeah.
Right on. And I think that you could get the 45 that we were just discussing through the Bandcamp. And if there's another link, I'll link that as well. But I think it's sixtonedechair.bandcamp.com to find that. Go follow Iguana Death Cult at Iguana Death Cult on Instagram to keep up to date with news and shows and tours and all the good stuff, right?
Yeah. 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 Follow us on Instagram.
That's the best place, right?
Yeah, it's the only one I really use.
And people should follow you on Instagram as well to keep up to date with
Sure.
Parisian Night Suit stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
Come and
is
say
it?
hi.
Yeah, and say hello and comment nice stuff on the post, right?
Only positive, good vibes only.
Good vibes only, of course, of course. But what is your Instagram again? Is it at Parisian Night Suit, no underscores?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that'll also be linked below. And do
Great.
we have anything else to promote? Oh, yeah, people can get the merch through the big cartel, right? For Iguana Death Cult.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in Europe, it's better to order there. Also your records and stuff. And if you're in the US, it's better to go through Innovative Leisure because the shipping will be very very expensive otherwise.
Perfect. Both those will be linked below. And do you have anything else to promote, or is that it?
Not really. Like I said, new records. We're done mixing. I hope it's gonna come out anytime this year. I'm not sure yet. We'll
Perfect.
keep you posted. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
And it's gonna be posted on Instagram too. That's where you can find it.
Yes, for sure.
I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, sir. I'm gonna stop recording this and I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Okay, thank you, man, and thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.